welcome back to TNN's coverage of the world's 9 best fantasy football players league. I'm Danny Football filling in for your host who is out for the holidays once again. And this is what we have for you this week. Week 16 is now behind us, and our final matchups for the season are all set. Here is what the two teams facing off in the championship had to say. Hey, what's up, everyone? Commissioner Tucc here. I just wanted to send a quick message to the entire league saying we're back. Team's been on a great win streak. Never a doubt. I certainly was not thinking of selling this team before the trade deadline, so really it's great to see the guys perform and get to where we wanted to be at the start of the season. Congratulations to Timmy, third team to ever appear in the world's 9 best fantasy football players championship. It's a great feat. I think it's going to be a great matchup, and we're just hoping to put it all out there on the field and get the best results possible for the team, for the league, and for my dynasty as commissioner. So, wishing everyone great luck this week. We had a lot of big matchups, a lot on the line. And I'll be back next week to, kind of talk through what's going to go on in the off season, what the payouts are going to be, and just what the state of the league is going forward. So good luck to everyone, and I'll see you next week.
What's up, fellow owners, GMs, coaches, and Miguel? Timmy from the Pumper McNichols here. Excited for our big matchup this week in the championship game against Commissioner Tucc's team. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that Commissioner Tucc is in the championship. This is kind of what his team does come the postseason. So we know we have a big challenge ahead of us. We're excited for the opportunity. We're hoping that the rest of the league can rally behind us a little bit. I know we're famously the Pumpy Dumpies, but I mean, what's a better outcome for us, guys? The Pumpy Dumpies winning or Commissioner Tucc winning for another year? Hopefully, we can kind of earn historic franchise status. I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but it's not always earned, so we're hoping to earn it this weekend. And we're excited. Championship week, baby. This is what we've been working for all season. I hope it's a good matchup. And good luck to Commissioner Tucc, but not too much luck.
And now, here's Danny Football with his picks last time in the season, week 17. Hey, what's up, guys? World's 9 best fantasy football players, expert Danny Football here, back for another week of expert predictions. Last week was okay for me, going 3-3, bringing my total on the year up to a very nice 56-38. My guests split last week. Jacob had just a terrible 1-5. Visconti with a very respectable 5-1, being able to beat the expert. But I would like to point out that this is contingent upon Ham and Throw holding on to their .18 point lead over Undefeated Never Lost. And if that changes, I will be sure to update next week because that has big implications for beating the expert. But now, there's a new week, a new guest, new chance to beat the expert. So guest, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
I'm Grayson, back to beat the expert again. Mugs are still for sale if that's part of the introduction. Stickers also available. And yeah, we're back. The Bandits were the highest scorer last week. Who knew? Joe, introduce yourself.
What's up, World's 9? I am Joe here from Denny Waddled Away. Barely missing the playoffs. Just happy to be here, going up against the expert again. We'll see how it goes. Undefeated against Danny Football.
Yeah, guys, great to have you back. Looking forward to redeeming myself, last picks of the season. So big week, big matchups, and let's get into it. All right, first up, we have Ham Throw taking on Team Big Chungus 22. Big Chungus favored in this one at 56%. This one, we have the battle for ninth place, a matchup that truly no one cares about. Aside from both of these teams saving themselves last week, very little interest here. Watch out for a potential stat correction for Ham Throw. Currently, their lead over Undefeated Never Lost is very slim. We're recording this a little bit early, so we're going to be looking for any potential stat corrections to throw Ham Throw into the toilet bowl versus Team Mvanek. These teams are in totally different directions lately. Big Chungus has been looking pretty solid, even though they're in the toilet bowl. Ham Throw has just been awful all the way through. They squeaked out a victory last week. They just had extremely low points all year, all season, especially in the playoffs. And Will and I, we've mended our old wounds. We've healed. We've reconnected. I still hate Ham Throw. I have all season. If there's one thing that fans of the show will tell you, it's that I hate Ham Throw. And for that reason, I'm going to go with Team Big Chungus 22 in this one.
That's great analysis, Danny Football.
Thank you.
I like the pick. I've been picking based on corruption stats, and I'm here this week to provide updates to them. Right now, Big Chungus 22 is riding at the pure level of 20 cookies against Ham Throw's 45 cookies. Pretty clear here. I mean, everybody knows that Ham Throw is awful, and the Ham Throw ownership loves to talk trash. They talked a lot of trash specifically to the Waddle Away organization recently. So it's obvious that their butthurt corruption is not going to get them into, what is this, the ninth place game?
This is the ninth place game, yes.
I'm going with the Chung guy.
I mean, the corruption metric has not failed yet, so I'm intrigued to see if it holds up for a second week.
It's undefeated this season.
Never lost.
I've been saying for a while that Sam Darnold just needs the right situation to thrive, and I think starting quarterback of the Chung guy is that situation. My other bit of analysis is that the Chung guy were only outscored by the Bandits by like 40 points last week, and Ham Throw, they were really, really outscored by the Bandits. So that's my metric of excellence. So I got to go Chung guy here.
Last week we only had one unanimous pick for the Irish. It makes me a little uneasy here with everybody going for the Chunguses, but we're gonna stick with it on this one.
The tie does go to the expert. So
yeah, well, that's true. It's great for me when we all pick the same. All right, moving on. We have our third place game. We have the Mental Brick Walls taking on Luck of the Irish. Brick Walls currently favored at 55%. Grayson, who do you like in this matchup?
Well, I watched Tom's team last week, so there's no way I could like it. I think he scored 132.
Yeah.
The Brick Walls, they've got it done all season. Even last week, they put up a respectable number. I think this team, they're taking the bronze. I think for Tom, you just got to hope for hitting 150, and if you pull that off, it's less embarrassing.
That's good analysis. I like it a lot, Grayson. Both these teams are riding on the lowest cookie level of 20, and not the expert, but this expert who went 6-0 during his Hot Ones challenge did pick in the lightning round the Brick Walls to win this season.
That's true.
Which I stand by. It was a good pick. Solid team through and through. Don't really know what happened at the end, but I'm sticking with that pick and giving the bronze to the Brick Walls.
Yeah, I think that's great picks all around there. This was a really disappointing end to the season for both of these teams for very different reasons. Brick Walls got knocked out after a really tough battle against the SWAT team last week. Both teams, I'm going to say it from an unbiased expert's perspective, should have been in the championship game. But, it could be worse. They could be Luck of the Irish, just putting forward the most pitiful performance in the playoffs I've ever seen. World's 9 best fantasy football players or other league, regardless, terrible performance.
Over
It's
100
going to be
points.
What was that?
100 points worse than the Bandits. That's
I mean, the Bandits should be the measuring stick against which teams measure themselves. So,
yeah.
Tom, it was a nice run. Kev Moss, I'm sure you're going to be disappointed, but you know what? Something really interesting. One of my favorite things about the third place matchup is that trade-off between, do I take the money or do I take the slightly better draft pick? And in this case, Brett, as a division winner, already gets his buy-in back. So that's something to think about. Tom, he's got money to play for here. Tom has shown that he's going to tank in the past when he's been in this position. But I really don't think it matters. I think either way, Brett's team is going to take home the win here. They're going to get a little bit of extra money, slightly worse draft pick. I'm picking the Brick Walls to win this one. Moving on, we have the Toilet Bowl Championship. Team M. Vanek taking on Undefeated Never Lost. Undefeated Never Lost favored at 53%. Joe, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
I mean, these are two teams that are both awful. Truly bottom feeders of the league. One slightly more corrupt than the other team. Sam Hinkie riding at 40
something
cookies,
like that.
Twice as much as the UNL cookie balance. I don't believe that this is reflective of actual real corruption. Ethically, UNL rides on the bottom of society. Sorry, Roberto Kraft and Danny Stortz.
Have you considered the combined cookies between Miguel, Danny, and Schmitz, though?
Oh, I have not.
Something to think about.
You know what? Come back to me. Let me do some more research.
Yeah. Grayson, who do you like in this one?
You know, the entire year, Team Vanek has been the worst team. Just the worst. Like, not just in the league, possibly assembled in a fantasy football league. And that's why I think it's poetic that they're going to get the win this week. And they're going to somehow dodge the toilet bowl. And we're going to get to see Miguel, Danny, and Schmitz all do the beer mile relay. And so I'm locking in Team Vanek. Let's get it. Kirk Cousins, the quarterback, to lead the run.
Yeah, this is truly a great matchup here. A matchup very deserving of the toilet bowl. The only team I would have preferred to see here was Ham and Throw over Undefeated Never Lost, but still all around great matchup. Lots of things to look out for here. Will the league get its first ever two-time toilet bowl champion and Undefeated Never Lost? Or will we get to see Team M. Vanek cap off truly the worst season in fantasy history? There's a question. Grayson, you brought this up. If Undefeated Never Lost loses, will Miguel, Danny, and Schmitz all do the beer mile? I think it wouldn't be fair for them to split responsibilities. I think if they were going to do it, they'd all have to do the full thing. Just to be fair, there are three of them, so they should be 3 times as good as any other team. So the punishment should be 3 times as bad. But look, there's a lot of questions going into this one. I've said some. Will Miguel be fired? Will Danny jump ship? Will Schmitz stick his neck out and make some moves for this team next year? I think this one is going to end up being really close. Undefeated Never Lost, they've been looking really bad lately. Team M. Vanek, they've been looking somewhat respectable lately. This is a pick I have really been struggling with, been going back and forth. I thought about doing a coin flip for a little bit, but at the end of the day, one of these teams just historically has proven that they do not show up in the playoffs. And I'm going to pick Team M. Vanek to survive this one, giving Undefeated Never Lost the toilet bowl crown for the second time in league history.
That's a great pick. I like both of your guys. After looking at the stats, the UNL organization does collectively hold more cookies in assets than Team Mvanix. That being said, I'm going to stick with the average level, which has dropped lower than Team Mvanix 40, and I'm going to choose Team Mvanix to take home the toilet bowl this year.
Wow. All right.
As much as I would like to see either Miguel run 3 beer miles consecutively or 3 separate beer miles between the owners.
All right. Finally, in our marquee matchup of the week, we have the World's 9 Best Fantasy Football Players Championship, the Pumper McNichols taking on the SWAT team. SWAT favorite at 51%, really close matchup. I think this is going to be a great cap to the season. SWAT looking for their 3rd championship and solidly cementing their dynasty in the league. Pumper McNichols looking to get a huge win and prove all of the doubters, including this expert, wrong. Defense by the SWAT team has really been coming on lately. You know, people say defense wins championships for a reason, and this team has really shown that over the past 2 years, and with their rise to the championship this year. They're currently on a 7-game winning streak, largely driven by the defense, and we're going to see if it's enough to get their just, very, at best, average offense across the finish line. Pumper McNichols, something interesting here is going to be who they roll out at quarterback this week. If they roll Geno or Brock Purdy, we could have a fantastic quarterback matchup in the championship here between Brock Purdy and Daniel Jones, 2 quarterbacks that I know everyone expected to be playing for a championship this year.
And they said quarterbacks don't matter.
I mean, look, they're no Mahomes, but will Daniel Jones get the job done every once in a while? He might. Pumper McNichols, they're going to have to be relying on the strength of the rest of their team, and they do have a pretty strong team top to bottom. They were way down the past couple of weeks. Some might say they essentially had a bye week last week going up against Tom's terrible, terrible team. Maybe the guys will be rested. Maybe they are just not going to be used to the level of competition that the SWAT team brings. A lot of different ways that this one can go, but I expect the Pumper McNichols to put up more of a fight this week. With that being said, though, the lesson of this playoffs has been to trust the experience. SWAT team, if there's one thing that they have, it's experience. And I'm going to go with the SWAT team to take home their 3rd championship.
I think everybody saw that coming.
Yeah, that's on a normal week, it's probably the pick that I would make, but got to break from the expert. Can't tie. Gonna have to get the win, and we got to get that bread. The Pumper McNichols are win. I can't even say it out loud without laughing. Pumper McNichols are gonna win the championship. Let's go, Pumper McNichols.
I love to hear it. Absolutely love it. Everybody knows where I'm going with this pick. The corruption metric does not lie. It is perfect. Timmy would have had to do something egregiously bad to bring his balance up to 85, like the Commissioners. Still, by far the highest in the league, the most disgusting, rampant corruption in any organization to ever grace the sleeper platform.
Some have been calling for an investigation of the league. I've heard whispers.
Judge Daniel has got to get involved somehow. There's just so much going on behind the scenes. They've already run away with 2 championships and have stolen all of the world's 9 best friend bank account balances. I have no more money. It's gone. And it's in Commissioner Tucc's pocket. That's why I am picking the Pumper McNichols this week to take home the bread, just like you said, and to restore balance to the world's 9 galaxy.
Well,
I'm
Grayson,
inspired.
Joe, thank you so much for being on this week. I'm wishing you guys all the best of luck with your picks. Of course, not as good as me, can't beat the expert, but it's been great having you on. I'm wishing you both a great, prosperous off season, making only the best of moves, and I look forward to seeing you both back here next year.
Thanks, Danny Football.
Go Bandit. Mugs for sale.
And thank you, Danny Football, Joe, and Grayson for those great picks. That's all we have for you this time. Be sure to tune in next week to see how things shook out for our final TNN show of the season. I'm Danny Football, and this has been TNN.